Buddy, welcome in. Good afternoon. Dr. J is here with Vinson and representing the Knickline. And everyone, I want everyone listening at the sound of my voice to just take a moment and to soak it in. Soak it in, New York. The 53-year drought is officially
53.
over. The New York Knicks are your 2026 NBA champions. Champions. They went into San Antonio last night, withstood every single punch, secured a grueling 102-95 victory to close out the series 4-1. Right from the opening tip, you could feel the business like focus. And when that final buzzer sounded, decades of frustration just washed away.
So,
Vincent, it's finally real, man. The Larry O'Brien Trophy is heading back to Manhattan. So, give everybody your immediate, raw reactions to, what we witnessed last night and just the absolute weight of this championship.
I could say my faith has been rewarded and
Mm,
sticking by the Knicks all these years. That's my first immediate reaction. Like it's just like we did it, and to have a team that embodies like the mindset that I have and never say die, never quit, and it display that throughout the playoffs. It's just it's something spiritual about that, you know.
mm, yeah.
And to like just be around others that share the same sentiments that have been in it longer than I have. Like I was about a bunch of like older distinguished gentlemen who like they were Nick fans in the '70s, so like they were able to see
Mm,
those championships, and we were able to share experiences and talk, and it was just the vibes were immaculate,
yeah.
and I didn't go to bed until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Woke up at
Same.
8, hit the Nick line, like yo.
All right.
But man, like uh, the only thing I could describe it because this is the first championship is when I won a championship with my nephew and just knowing what we went through the 3 years to like be the best and to finally have chance to compete for a championship
Right.
and then to have like one of our goals and being undefeated just we didn't go undefeated but then to come back, run the gauntlet, and then win the championship, like it's up there, man. Like
Yeah.
it feels the same.
I definitely hear you on that, man. Like for me, I had too much energy after winning. There was definitely points where I was crying. I even my mom called me. I'm sobbing like crazy. Um, yo, I mean, I just think back of just years of ridicule for being a Knicks fan.
Yeah,
Just being like the butt of jokes, and not just like people I meet, whether it's through school or work, whatever, but even on the media stage, like nationally, like the Knicks were like recognized, like I said, the joke, like the running joke,
and then they refuse to give any sort of respect. Like
right?
once we had a run in the playoffs, I remember like Rachel Nicholson was like, "Calm down, y'all just doing it now. Um, you need to earn respect." I'm like, "What are you?" Even now, like I think she's back on Fox or something, one of those
Mm,
stations, and she was saying that we should just be grateful that we're going to be coming out the East every year, and that our ceiling is just that coming out the East. So like you're saying, like a lot of people doubted us. A lot of people
right.
doubted us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it shows the years of that, man. People who hate on us, and yeah, and then once we did start finally becoming respectable and start winning and getting back into the playoffs again, I think just for so long the Knicks have been, like you said, the butt of jokes for so long. A lot of people, like you say, even with the media, they used to, using the Knicks as their punchline, so they didn't want to accept us actually being good. So they want to keep us down there, but like, no, we're not staying out there, man. We're getting out of there,
Right.
and it's definitely a long journey, man. And like, and I even shared before, like, you know, I always dreamed of the Knicks finally winning a championship, and the closest thing I had was the Knicks winning on it when I played NBA 2K, like when I'm playing on my video games. That was the
Right.
closest thing I had to a championship for the Knicks. Um, as far as like New York sports, like I mean, I've witnessed the Giants, the recent
Hmm.
two championships. I did witness that. So that was very fun. Um, I've I vaguely remember the '94 championship for the Rangers for hockey.
Hmm.
I do quite remember that, but also at the same time, I wasn't like a big hockey fan.
Right.
Honestly, I really wasn't a hockey fan. I was more pedestrian back then. I think I became more of a fan not to like to 2020. I became more of a hockey fan to starting from then. So I came. So that one, yeah, I remember that, but I didn't really feel it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I didn't really have that much of attachment to it. Um, trying to think what else. Well, at Yankees, I've experienced, I guess multiple Yankees championships as far as baseball. But yeah, but I've always wanted to see the Knicks win, and yeah, up until this point, uh, the Knicks didn't win. The last time they won was 1973. So yeah, that was something I always longed for, just to see them do it, and always kind of dream like what would it be like, and how would it feel, and that time is here. It's finally
Right.
happened. We have our point guard who came and just really just turned this place around, man. Because and the reason I say that, for one, Jalen, he's really about team. He made sacrifices, including forfeiting what over $100 million, so that the Knicks could have that breathing room to make the moves necessary to build a team around him, so they can compete for a championship. Like all those things matter, man. Like those little details they matter, and when they talk about when they had these conversations about having a superstar, this and that, I don't really see that with the Knicks. I see
Right.
team. I see team when I see the Knicks. It's not one person and the rest of others. No, it's everyone on this team is contributing, doing their part, to help us win. And I think that's what I really love about the Knicks more than anything, man. I don't care who's the quote unquote superstar. I don't need that, honestly. I just want to see
Right.
my team
The media
play
needed
play together.
this.
Say that again.
No, I said the media needed that, not
Mm,
us. We
right.
just
Yeah.
wanted a
Right.
winner.
Right.
We
Exactly.
weren't really caught up with the bells and whistles. We just wanted something out there that could give us what we wanted, which was a championship. And
Right.
that's what the Knicks did. Like you got to think about it's such an emotional time in a tri-state area. This team like they really never skipped any sort of steps in building their foundation. And in this playoffs, they went on an 11 game winning streak. They wiped out a 29-point deficit in game four. And then they came back in game five and just really steadied and um, pushed and made it to the finish line. Um, Guys like Mitchell Robinson, he played with a broken finger.
Yeah.
Coach Brown, he really out schemed the Spurs
Mitch
coach.
Johnson. Mitch
Uh,
Johnson.
it just showed the mantra, like where there's a will, there's a way, and however it has to be done, it needs to get done. And man, it's finally here. It's finally here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. And as you say that too, I mean, just really just giving flowers. And like I said, everyone listening who's been following us, everyone should know by now. I'm part of Mike Brown's extended coaching staff, and I want to be one of the first to really congratulate Mike Brown because he caught a lot of flack, especially when the Knicks made the move to move away from Tibbs and to hire Mike Brown. And there was a lot of questions because, especially, I mean, honestly, like from the optics, the Knicks went through all these different, interviewing all these different coaches who weren't available. So they they tried to interview coaches who still had ties to their current teams, and it just made it seem like the Knicks didn't have a plan after firing Tom Thibodeau, and then once they finally hired Mike Brown, it just put a lot of speculation. Like, man, did the Knicks really plan this, or like, is this who
Right.
they really wanted? You know what I'm saying? So I think with all the noise from that, I think Mike Brown had to kind of navigate through all that. because to show like, hey, no, the Knicks hired me because I know I have a vision for this team, and I believe that we can do this. I have a plan, for this team, and just looking at the talent, and I think we can do this. And he did it. He executed, man, and especially as we got to the playoffs. Um, you saw that, especially I said, from Game 3, from the Atlanta series and on, man. Like he made the proper adjustments. I mean, and just watching it out, if you've really been a Knicks fan, just watching all 82 games throughout the regular season, you saw the
Right,
different lineups that Mike Brown was not afraid to experiment with, and as long I think his mentality was, as long as we're not playing ourselves out of the playoffs, especially like staying within the first six seeds, and not
mhm,
trying to fall into the play-in, I think you're fine, man. Experiment, see what works, see what lineups works best in different scenarios. That's what the regular season should be about. That's the
right,
time to experiment. You shouldn't try to throw somebody in the playoffs in a high tense situation and they never played before, or they never played maybe with one of the starters, real minutes before, and now you just throwing them in, expecting them to have some heavy production. You set them
right.
up for failure. So,
Yeah,
and we kind of saw that, honestly, last season, and I think that's what really sealed it for Tom Thibodeau, because in that Indiana series, he was really, he was heavily reliant on his starters, and he was very stubborn. He did not want to play his bench, and then he didn't really start playing the bench until he really had to. And then, but I
right,
mean, by that time, it was too late. We had to succumb to injuries, and we started falling behind the series, and ultimately we got knocked out. But and Vince, I want to pose this to you: is like, given the way the Knicks played, especially, I mean, this whole just in this final series alone, we were down big in every game. So, do, do do you think, especially in the way that Mike Brown had to, use the bench, especially Game 4, working with, he pretty much did a roll call, tried
right,
Deuce, nope, didn't work. He tried Clarkson, oh, didn't work. All right, Alvarado, okay, you seen it work. Let's go. So Alvarado was able to help out Brunson, because the way that the Spurs were playing Brunson. But do you think if Tom Thibodeau was still the coach, for those some of these games, for this series, do you think we would have won, or even being ahead so much as we have in this series?
no. I'm gonna be honest, no. And I just think he's dead set in his ways. I think a lot of Mike Brown's success, um, you know, had to do just as much as the input that he got from his assistant coaches, as much as it did his own schemes and adjustments.
Right.
You know, he gave a lot of credit to Rick Brunson. I forget the other coach, but I know he takes care of the defense. And the adjustments that they made collectively as a whole, Thibodeau really wasn't a guy that really wanted to collaborate with
No.
other coaches,
Yeah.
and it just really left a bad taste in everybody's mouth when the Knicks would fall short, because there were things that they could have done differently, and they didn't because the ego got in the way. And then when you have a guy like Jalen Brunson that is selfless, um, uh, things kind of, you know, crack. Like you start hearing things like, we want more guys to play. We don't want to play all these minutes. Can we try this kind of defense? Can we try this kind of offense? And that just wasn't happening with Tibbs. So I don't think Tibbs would have got the job done, so to say.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think I definitely still, and this isn't me not. I'm not trying to bash Tibbs, because also I do recognize his contributions to the Knicks organization. He is the catalyst that really got us turned
Right,
around to turn the franchise around. So I do recognize that, and to get us to this point. But for us to get to that next level, I understand why that the Knicks had to make a change at the head coaching position, and it paid off. And as we
right,
see in Mike Brown's first year with the New York Knicks, he wins a championship, and ended in that 53-year drought for the Knicks. So to absolutely nobody's surprise, Jalen Brunson, he hoists the Bill Russell Finals MVP trophy after averaging over 32 points and 8 assists for the series. So he completely controlled the mid range pace all night. Set that tone from day one. Utterly dismantled every defensive single look that San Antonio threw at him. So Vin, the national media, they try to push that lazy ISO, that ISO hero ball narrative after Game 3, but Brunson, he's completely silenced, every single critic, in my opinion. Break down how his leadership and clinical half court execution, last night cemented his legacy as an all time New York legend.
Well, yet again, you have guys on the court just kind of camping out, watching him, um,
Mm,
relying on him to bail him out. And luckily for them, they did. He did. Um, when you think about his leadership, he's probably the ultimate competitor the way we have in basketball right now. Like I'm
right.
gonna say it again, Jalen Brunson is the ultimate competitor that we have in basketball today. Not only does he gets buckets, but defensively, he actually um, met his match and like won it. Like he wasn't getting abused defensively at all.
Yeah.
Um, Offensively, he was a hunter. Like, think about it. He hunted out Wimby, who is the reigning defensive player of the year, and hit threes over him. Like,
Mm.
not one, not two, like multiple
Yeah.
times in
Yeah.
this series. So like he was out hunting, and the moment wasn't too big for him. You can tell that he wanted it. He just wanted it so bad, and he didn't want to go back home. Like he said it in his post game interview, he didn't
Mm.
want to go back home to play another game. Um,
Right.
but when I say like a competitor, like there were just times within game 4 that like I just saw like this will for him to like not let this team die. Like that's the only way I could put it. Like he just had the will to not let this team die. Like no matter
Right.
if they were down 18, 20 points, he just came back with another bucket. In that game 4, he has what 14 points, 16 points in that second quarter. And then he finishes the game with like 35, I believe. And then last night, same thing. The Knicks come out like have 13 points in the first quarter, but he settles them down. He comes and he hits a couple of mid-range jump shots. He starts stabilizing the offense. The pace slows down from that like hair on fire, all out blitz that San Antonio came out with. And it gave confidence to the other guys. Like you started to see Mikal Bridges hit a couple of threes. He finished with 13 points. He
Yeah.
came alive after disappearing for games 3 and 4. Um, Defensively, his rotations were great, and it allowed his other teammates to make great rotations in terms of closing off the wings. Um, it- Brunson is the engine that makes it go. Like I know Hart is the heart of the team in terms of his will, his tenacity, but without Brunson, I mean, we say it right, cat, no rings. Brunson, I don't think no Knicks that we know now. You know what I mean? And then you said something about lazy ball narrative. Yeah, that
The
dies
ISO
now.
ball.
Like
Yeah.
or the ISO ball narrative,
Yeah.
right? It dies now. Like that the ISO ball
Yeah.
narrative dies now. He just does what he needs to do out of necessity. He's not a selfish player. He's
Right.
not looking for any accolades. It comes with it when you show up for others. And
Right.
that's why we're blessed to have him here because he's such a selfless guy.
No, I think that's a great point, man. He will turn it up when like you said, when it's necessary. But he will find his teammates. He makes sure to set them up. Put them in good positions, um, so that way they could score and be successful. But yeah, but also too, like there's time where he needs to take over. Take over the game. He's gonna do that. So I think that's important for him. I don't know. I'm sorry, Ben. You getting like I'm getting like some bad feedback from you. I guess on your side.
Am I really?
Cena gone down now, so I think we're okay.
So,
It's I don't know, it's kind of off and on, but anyway, I'll press on.
okay,
All right,
just let me know.
yeah. All right. Well, so let's let's flip to the other side of the tunnel. Because things got incredibly tense. In the
Mhm.
post game media locker room. So Victor Wembanyama, he had a rough, highly volatile press conference. He was asked about his fourth quarter fatigue and the depth issues with Luke Cornett being sidelined with his illness. Wemby snapped at a reporter, gave short, one-word answers, and
Mhm.
essentially walked off the podium early. So we saw him visibly gassed on the court, playing heavy, exhausted minutes.
Right,
I mean, and you've talked about this even in previous pregame about Wemby's minutes, but like you know, playing these exhausted minutes while Mitchell Robinson and Cat forcing the box out every possession. How much of this presser meltdown was pure, physical exhaustion, and how much of it was the sheer frustration of getting completely solved by the Knicks front court?
no, I think it has a lot to do with exhaustion. I think he's never really played these many minutes. Like
Hmm.
he's a 35 to 38 minute kind of guy, and like once you're at this point in the season, and the games matter a lot more. Not only do you get fatigued physically, but you get fatigued mentally, and I think all that combined, like we see that he still has a lot of room to grow. I think in terms of Cat and Mitchell Robinson, especially Mitchell Robinson, because Mitch had one of probably the most important offensive rebound in the history of the NBA
Yes.
Finals.
Yes.
So I just think that constant like hitting and pounding and like just being dragged out to the perimeter to guard, I think that took a toll on him, and having to be everywhere and everything. Like that's what their defense is really predicated on, him kind of just being a Swiss Army knife and like roaming around. But the Knicks did a good job of being really physical with him and getting him out of his spots where he's effective. You could see like offensively, he didn't really want to go to the rim unless it was like a lob play. He was just too spent. Like he was settling for jump shots. Then we
Yeah.
seen that he really doesn't have the offensive bag that he should have. He doesn't have a go-to move yet. So he gets himself in trouble. He's kind of trying things out there in the spur of the moment to make things work. So I think all that combined and just like not really knowing how to process it, being in the moment. I think that's why we seen him react the way that he did afterwards and his presser. Um, you know, I don't, like I say, like they don't sell heaven or hell on Walmart, so I can't crucify him for the way that he's act. But he's gonna grow from this. He's gonna grow. He's gonna get better. This is I mean, he's a generational talent. As much as we were in the Discord talking about like how much we couldn't stand him. Like facts are facts. The guy, he's gonna be back here at some point, and hopefully this is something that he learns from. You know, just from not from the physicality and the preparation, but how to conduct yourself. You can't be a front runner.
Right. No, I agree, and to me, I take from it. I think he really lacks. He heavily lacks maturity. I think he's very. I mean, he's what 23, 22.
Yeah.
It really shows. It really showed during this final series. He and for one, I haven't watched Spurs basketball really all that close unless they're really playing the Knicks. So watching the finals, really getting to see really examine Wemby over these 5 games. And yeah, for one, I kind of take away to me, I think he's a dirty player. I'm not
No, he's
gonna.
definitely a dirty player. He definitely does some stuff he should not be doing
Yeah,
out there on the court. Like those elbows were ridiculous, and the
yeah,
refs were definitely um, covering for him
yeah.
because
They were protecting him, bro.
yeah, they were protecting him for sure.
they,
Like he stepped all in Brunson's landing space, and almost made him turn his ankle. That's why he got
He
blitzed the way
did
that he
turn his
did.
ankle. That
Yeah, he
you
did
saw the
turn his ankle, right? Yeah.
yeah.
That's why Brunson came out like afterwards, like those two buckets that he had on him,
Yeah.
the three over his head, and then like taking him to the rim. Like Wimby was in hell, like especially going like the one that Brunson took him to the basket. Like the
Mhm.
footwork, like it was just it was too much for him. Like you could see, like he didn't know how to guard something like that. He's never had to guard anything like that, and like he got exposed a bit. Like this was a different kind of defender that we seen in Wemby. Like this wasn't a dominant um, defensive player. Like this was more of, oh, if you go at Wemby, you kind of have some success on Wemby. Like
Right.
it's different when you're not sitting in the paint and having defense or your wings funnel guys to you and you just swat everybody's shot. Like now you got to move those puppies. You got to
Right.
guard them.
And that really that's what makes me think that he's a little over reliant on his height, thinking, as you said, like he could just stand in the paint and just block everybody's shot like a fly swatter.
Right.
But when you have to bring him out, make him uncomfortable, and to D up, he cannot keep up with somebody who's faster than him. I mean, because that's what he saw in the first two games where Cat was just having his way because Cat would just blow by him, and Wemby he was just left in his dust, time
Yeah.
and time again. So I know, man. Like, yeah, to me, like I said, I feel like Wemby is a dirty player. I think he does lack maturity, especially when you talk about when you're dealing with the press and media obligations. That's something he definitely needs to work on. Hopefully, the vets will talk to him. His coach will talk to him to get that corrected, man. But I don't know, and I don't know if they'll be back to this point, because to me it's not necessarily a guarantee. I'm sure you're gonna have they're gonna have success, but um for what I saw, especially from the coaching staff, if they still keep Mitch Johnson as the Spurs coach, he was heavily outclassed by Mike Brown.
Heavily.
There was I can't remember if it was like game one or two, when they want to go through that hack a Mitch strategy, which I hate, but it's like, well, Mike Brown's like, okay, we want to do this. So I'm gonna turn it back on you. So like Mike Brown would, when it was known that they were doing that, it was following Mitch, and
Hmm.
thinking the Spurs that the Knicks would try to take him out. No, the Spurs thinking that the Knicks would take Mitch out. Mike Brown's like, no, you stay in the game. Let them keep fouling you. Let them get in the penalty. Then I'm gonna take you out.
Right. Now
and
that sells that.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's why I'm like, yo, man, this, and also too. I mean, there's also a couple trips where at least Mitch would get at least one or two, and sometimes he would make both. So I mean, sometimes that kind of backfires as well. So no, man, yeah, I think that definitely from the coaching standpoint, they were outclassed, outmatched in that regard. Um, I think as you mentioned, Wemby being exposed, that was a blueprint that was set for the whole league to witness and take
Right.
notes on. So now they know, okay, this is how you gotta, defend Wemby. Oh, he doesn't like it when you draw him out to the 3 point line. So those are those type of things. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's an automatic thing that Spurs are going to get right
Yeah.
back to it. I think other teams that definitely took notice, and they're gonna now they have a better sense of how to play him. And also too, man, the when we talk about the refereeing, there has to be some sort of investigation, man, or like something has to happen. Like they got to really address that because it was very evident that they were protecting Wemby. Why, I don't know. I mean, I guess I know. I mean, they're forcing him to be the face, I guess. But this is the guy you want as the face of the NBA? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
I
I don't
said it
know.
last night. That's the like. This is who you want. This is like. No, you don't want that. I don't want my kids like thinking elbows are okay
No.
at all. Like what? Like come on now. Or like crying and yeah, like nah, it's not it. But no, I definitely agree with your point. Like it's definitely not. a given that he comes back there. I think they need to one he needs to work out. He needs to
Yeah.
get stronger. Um,
I think Shaq even mentioned that in the post game, I
yeah,
believe.
he
Yeah.
needs to get stronger. But they also need some quality bigs that can come in behind him
Right.
to give him
They have
that
no
rel-
depth
that
after
no,
him.
no, not at all. I mean, their wings, they have generational wings at this point.
Hmm.
Um, but I will say that their wings aren't necessarily playmakers. So, like, they need some more playmakers within that team, to possibly make it back. Um, right now, they're definitely one of the teams that, will come out that have a chance, not will, but have a chance to come out of the West. But I just think, like, they don't have enough playmakers. They don't have a go to guy neither. Like, you
Right.
have to have a go to guy. I think Dylan will probably develop into that at some point.
I think yeah, I think so too. I mean Dylan Harper, he was the one that really smoked us. I mean,
Yeah,
he
Dylan was
was
like that.
yeah, he was putting in work last night.
Yeah.
It's like he could have missed. I didn't check his points, but
He had
yeah,
25.
25, yeah. Yeah, so 10 for 19 from the field, 3 for
Right.
6
Three for
um
six.
from the free
Um,
throw. Um yeah, man, he yeah, so players like that, I mean, I feel like yeah, he's definitely gonna he's really gonna develop and really be a problem in the league. Um but yeah, but if they don't address what's going on with Wimby, I am not one to just crown him just because he's 10 feet tall. He has to put in more work. He needs a lot more work,
right.
in my estimation. So, but we'll see. Um, we'll see how things shake out. But that doesn't matter. They lost. Knicks won. Knicks are the champs, and that's what we're talking about. So as we
Right.
look at the big picture now, for years the Knicks were the laughing stock of the league. As we wake up today, some people didn't even go to sleep. Everyone's celebrating, and I barely slept. I'm working off espresso and adrenaline right now. But looking at this roster infrastructure, Jalen Brunson in his absolute prime, OG Ananobi, Mikael Bridges locking down the wings, Carl Anthony Towns, he's anchoring the spacing and depth pieces like Jose Alvarado and Josh Hart are locked in. So Vin, so the East goes through New York now. Is this just a one-off feel-good story, or are we looking at the absolute foundation of a modern NBA dynasty?
I think this is the start of an NBA dynasty, and I think it's a start just because of the DNA that's embedded within this particular program in terms of the Knicks organization. Um, the head of the snake, Jalen Brunson. When you have a guy like that, you're gonna have all the confidence in the world that anything is possible. Um,
Right.
there's no game that's out of reach. There's nothing that Brunson can't lead you back from. I do think guys start to really see the appeal of playing for the Knicks that are free agents. I don't know like what they're going to do in terms of like retaining certain players because certain guys like Landry Shaman, he's definitely outplayed his contract. Deuce
Mhm.
McBride, I mean, he definitely didn't have the best last few rounds, but he's definitely outplayed it.
Like, yeah, like this series was not Deuce's
Yeah,
series at
no,
all.
not at all.
Not at all. I mean, he
Yeah,
played better. No, he played. I'm not gonna say. I won't say the whole playoffs. I think he had a good series against. I thought he played well in Cleveland.
right.
He has a good contribution there, and also, um, in Atlanta. But no, this finals. I did he even score this finals? I don't know. I got to go back and
Maybe.
check. But he did not make an impact as we're accustomed to from
Yeah,
Deuce.
I was definitely disappointed. Definitely
Yeah.
disappointed. But it's cool. He definitely played. He guarded. I mean, he probably played the best defense on Dylan. Like if we're
Yes.
keeping a buck, like he
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Defense for sure. Yeah. He did do that.
Yeah, he,
He
he
worked
played the
nice.
he played the
Hmm.
best defense, but like in terms of offense, man, like I definitely missed hearing the deuce
Yeah.
when he hit a shot.
We didn't hear any Deuce in this
No,
finals.
not at all.
I,
But in terms of like continuity and just like making this like a dynasty where like we're producing championship level teams, I think the bench, in terms of the wings and the young players we have, they need to they need more time to get developed. I mean, we've seen like what Deuce came, what became of Deuce rather,
right.
Mo. We all love us some Mo,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I'm hoping that Dior gets he gets some more burn next year. I would love to see him in moments like this because like he definitely has that Knicks DNA. Just not being like a big wing and being able to shoot the three ball, but like just like his ability to compete. Like he plays hard, and that was the first thing that popped out to me. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't afraid of the moments, but I just think right now the game might be a little bit too fast for him, and I think next year having his year under his belt, the game will slow down a bit more. Um, we love Tyler Kolek. Um, I I don't know, like his playmaking ability is his best attribute. He's definitely like that's definitely valuable to like what we need. But it's the other things. It's him being able to guard on a consistent basis, and hit the outside shot. He's bigger than Alvarado, but as we see with Brunson, size doesn't matter. It's the heart that's there, and he too. I do think he has the DNA to be a Nick, and to continue like with this team. But I do think like year three, like we need to see a jump. We need to see something change that we're more comfortable like with keeping him around.
right.
Um, I don't think Sohan stays. I think Sohan he walks. You know, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Um, I hope we retain Landry, but yeah, like I do think this is a dynasty. I do think the Knicks are doing their due diligence in the draft right now and looking at guys. I know they looked at my boy Elliot Cadeau. I would love for
okay.
Elliot
Yeah,
to be a Knick. Like I would be ecstatic. I'd be calling his mother Michelle right now. Like, yo, come on the Nick line.
right,
We need an interview.
right.
But like yeah, I do think this is the dynasty. I do think that we see multiple championships from this group. As long as we're able to keep all of them and everybody follows the lead of Brunson in terms of sacrificing.
Yeah, I definitely believe that you want to make sure you have a character fit with this team and not just putting folks on the squad just because they're the name on the back of the jersey. Um, we have to find some sort of oh man, yeah, yeah, Vinny, I'm picking up some bad like I'm hearing like birds and stuff on your side.
Oh, give me 1 second. I know where that's coming from.
All right. All right, so as you do that, yeah, I'll share that. No, so one of the things I'll say is that for the Knicks, as far as just looking forward, as far as the dynasty, answering that dynasty question, there are I said there are concerns as far as maintaining this roster. We have to see at Mitch, as far as retaining him, bringing him back. Also, Towns is a yeah, I mean, he's still signed, I think, at least for another year, but also the extension, what that's going to look like. So we had to see how the front office, Leon Rose, how he's going to handle that and manage that, move the money around to make things happen to keep Towns. I think he
Right.
is still a central, vital piece to the Knicks' success. Um, yeah, so and some of the pieces you mentioned, ancillary pieces. We have our young guys. We got Hook. Ariel Hook Party.
Right. You didn't
Um,
even get to mention him.
yeah, I got Mo. I know you mentioned Tyler Kolek. So like, yeah, a lot of these young guys, I say just to see, and I agree with you too as well. I think Sohan will be this probably be it for him and a row for him. Yeah, I'd definitely like for us to see us to keep Landry Shaman. I'm glad we did bring him back because he was crucial for us. In a lot of these games, being that spark plug off the bench. Also,
Right.
too, I think for him, um, I think he was more effective in I think games 1 and 2. Uh, I think he did
Yeah.
hit a couple shots
Yeah.
here and there, 3 and 4, but
Yeah. He hit a three last night, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
It was more his defense that kind of kept him
Right. Yeah.
being
No.
able to play because he still played a lot of minutes. I think he played definitely played about 20 minutes last night,
Right.
if not more.
I.
But
I. I
yeah,
sorry. No. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, no, I was just finishing my point.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, for Shamit. I mean, and that's what it is about, man. It's all about matchups. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll go into a series where certain players will get hot because depending on who's on the other side of the ball, right? So
Right,
it when it came to this series, and this is me giving credit to the Spurs is because they are a good team, man. I'm not gonna act like we beat a trash team. No, the Spurs are a good team. We had a worthy opponent in beating them. Um,
right,
but yeah, it just really came down to matchups, man. Like who we're able to face on the other side of the ball, and do they make us work, or are we able to feast? So for this series and this finals, the Spurs made us work. I know you could say leading up to this in the Eastern Conference Finals against Cleveland, I'd say for the most part, Knicks were able to feast. I mean, we swept
yeah,
them. But and especially also too, even looking at Atlanta, where Cat, was a big central figure in that turnaround from Game 3 and on. Really able to feast and really go to work.
right,
So I mean, as I was saying, it's all about matchups, man, and who you're facing. So it's not necessarily a define a moment to say, okay, you had a bad series. That means you're a bad player. It's
right,
just you just at that point in time, how that team prepared for you and having those matchups. But no, yeah, it is going to be interesting to see. You know, can we keep this core together? Can we keep this nucleus together? Also that supporting cast, because I think, like I said, there are going to be questions when it comes to contracts, especially as I mentioned with Cat, and some other folks that we just have to see how that works out and see if and we've seen it, time and time again. Leon Rose really do his work, and honestly, he really needs to get more respect around the league as far as
right,
for executive of the year. I don't know why he didn't get and more votes for executive of the year. The amount of work he's done since he came on board for the Knicks, and really just the trades, making all the different moves to get the Knicks to this point where we are today, as now as champions, really needs to be reviewed and studied because it took a lot. He was working against a lot of bad history of bad basketball of the Knicks to turn that around. I mean, you're going from coaching to players and everyone else and supporting staff, all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it really took a lot of work. And to be honest, man, I don't know for you, but
mm,
during the award ceremony after we won and they interviewed Leon, that was the first time I ever heard Leon Rose's voice. I never heard him speak before because
yeah,
he makes these moves, man, but he never made himself available for interviews or anything like that. So I was
yeah.
like, okay,
The most I've ever seen really of him was like people catching him lacking, crying in the corner with Worldwide West. So
right,
like this definitely means something to him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
this championship, this team, the way that he's built it, the last 4 years, it meant something to him. And you don't always have to make your moves like all out loud and be in the that was Dolan's problem. Like, and that's why guys didn't want to come play for the Knicks because Dolan was out there all in the media talking and all that stuff. Like it just made it
all up in the
toxic.
videos.
All up in the
Of-
videos, right? Shoot, like it just making it toxic for everybody involved. So um once he decided to um to step back and to allow real basketball heads do their thing, we've
right,
seen the turnaround. Like only
exactly,
somebody like Leon Rose can tell you about a Jalen Brunson and know how certain guys would fit together, like a Jose Alvarado or OG Ananobi.
right.
Like it just takes somebody with basketball knowledge to piece together the Knicks the way that they needed to be pieced together. Like everybody was saying at first, um, it was about just beating Boston, but like now we gotta look past it. Like no, like it was to win the championship
Yeah,
because like just you know having the Knicks be molded to beat Boston. Okay, now we come against another team. What are we gonna do? Like break down what we have and get um a new team to beat this team. No, like we're building a team with different components that create that all fused together. They create a champion, and that's what he did. Like it's just incredible the job that the Knicks have done. Like I'm still in awe just by like the eye talent. He needs to be talked up there with Sam Presti and what's the other guy from Utah? Danny Ainge. In terms
Yeah,
of
Danny.
GMs,
Yeah, right. I just
definitely
want
needs to be talked there.
I just want to take a moment to just recognize the chat. We got
Oh yes, Big Bro's
Am
on.
Amory Allen checking in for a quick sec. Had to run out, but just want to say what up. What's going on, man? That's another member of the Knickline. I'm Mr. Ray Allen. Yeah, we got you, sir. Um, so I actually sent another comment here. So yeah, Towns. When we talk about Towns as far as contract situation, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that is one
Mhm.
I as well. I am curious about because do they, as far as the Knicks, do they stick with because also I think it's a matter between Mitch or Towns to did I have to make a decision between either or? I don't know. Can they still keep both to retain Mitch and keep Towns? Um, and if so, if they have to choose, like who do they choose?
I think that might be pending on um Mikal Bridges' extension. I think if Mikal takes less, they might be able to sign Mitch.
Mm,
I remember
okay,
looking at it before, but I do think that's the case. If Mikal signs, because he's due for an extension,
yeah,
those two are really the main priorities in terms uh, of signing players this offseason. Um, yeah, I think that's the case. We have to look at it. Maybe we could just look at it right now, because I did do something prior to even like this coming up. That I mean, it's a great point.
okay.
Um,
What while you
let's.
what so while you do that, I'm gonna
Mhm.
keep going down the line here. He also puts in said I could have done without hearing from Dolan. You know what, man? As I'm watching that, for one, you know, Dolan, you had a lot of time, man. You could have prepared a better speech than that, and also too, it showed he needs to get in the gym because when they gave him the
Oh my
trophy,
god,
my man nearly toppled over the trophy. Like, bro, like he about to drop the
might have been
trophy.
drunk. I ain't gonna lie.
You know what? You might be right. He might have
He
been.
might be snapped.
He might have been. But yeah, it's yeah. As an owner, I thought he could have, you know,
Yeah, he could have
came with
did
something a
better.
little better than that. So, um,
Yeah, I
but
didn't. I definitely didn't want to hear from him neither.
also too, I mean, you know, being fair, I think he's more of a hockey fan, guys. He does own the New York Rangers as well. I think he's more on the hockey side. So, I think he follows the hockey a little bit more closely than the Knicks. I mean, he is covering both, but I know he does. I don't know his real backstory. I don't know if he ever played before or anything like that. But also at the same time too, um I mean honestly he was handed down from his father as far as the team. So
Right.
but yeah, but I mean it's gonna happen. I mean that's just customary. Whenever championship ceremonies, the owner is the first one to touch the trophy and then pass it off to everyone else. But
Right. I
it
mean, it's
he could have just done better. I just thought.
yeah. And you know what's sad is that his kids don't have any interest in taking over the Knicks after he's done.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's
He,
gonna be out
he,
of the Dolan family.
yeah, no, he's considering passing it down to his grandchildren, like that are a little bit older right now. That when they come of
Mm.
age, they'll be able to like take over the Knicks. Um, but yeah, that's something that I had read before, and you know what? It's a bit sad to see that, but especially with how we love the Knicks, but at the same time, maybe we need a new owner.
I
I
don't know.
think
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe it's time to have new ownership, but like um that familiarity, that we have with don't like. I mean, he's like it's like a toxic relationship at this point.
Yeah. I
Really toxic relationship.
yeah, if you know, I would believe I believe yeah, if we have someone that generally knows the game of basketball, and really cares about it, passionate about it, that's the type of owner I would like to see take over the Knicks. So hopefully, as you mentioned, maybe if his grandchildren are the ones going to be take over, and I don't even know who. I mean, this is actually the first I'm hearing about this, so this is breaking news to me. But yeah, but if that is the case, um, yeah, hopefully they are actually following the game and be able to provide like genuine input and not just saying things because you're the owner, but you actually have some sort of knowledge, like working knowledge of basketball and know how
Right.
to operate. So,
Yeah.
but
No, yeah, it definitely it definitely would help having just a knowledgeable owner. I mean, he also said, he that Jim Dolan reminds him of Jerry Jones, which unfortunately for me, I'm a Cowboy fan. So hope until he gets out the way, yeah, he's definitely not gonna. I don't know. Like the Cowboys have a better defense this year, but who knows?
right,
Tom Brady might happen. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I just pulled it up.
hmm
The short answer is yes. The Knicks can keep both Cat and Mitch, but
okay,
they would be pushing it to like the very like tip of the iceberg. Um, it just had I believe from what I'm reading, he signed Mikal Bridges. So we're gonna talk about Mikal Bridges' impact in this. He signed a 4-year, $150 million extension, which is
right,
about like 6 million left on the table compared to like the max he could have signed for. Um, he also passed on going unrestricted in free agency, which like made the price go down
right.
a bit. Let's see here. I think the problem with it right now is like it doesn't really save the Knicks from going into luxury tax or into the second apron.
Yeah.
Um, it just um it just helps out because like there's just a little bit more wiggle room. Um, okay, so it says here while the Knicks are currently paying Cat um his max salary, which he's making like 53 million. I didn't even know he was making that much.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
Mitch is on a $13 million. Let's get the number at 12.9 million team friendly expiring deal. So if they could keep their core, well, their core right now is really expensive. Their core is um they have a lot of they have like I want to say close to 185 million in their core. Um,
So when you say the core, we're talking about Brunson, Hart,
OG Ananobi,
Cat, OG.
Cat, and
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges.
Right.
So Mitch is eligible for a 4-year deal, which is up to about $87 million. Um, it will put the Knicks through the second apron.
Apron.
Um, I think here, um, if the Knicks can find a way to like restructure, um, I think the deal with Mikal Bridges, because I think there's still more room for them to restructure, like putting money back because they some contracts they front load, they back load.
Right.
You have player options. I think that's where Mikal Bridges becomes a game changer.
So there's room to where they can maintain, as far as the core as we know it, maintain the Knicks core,
Right,
at least for a couple more years, if they're able to kind of restructure, make some changes. It's going to take some compromise on Mikal Bridges' part, to work with the Knicks front office, to make that happen. But I mean, so that's still on the table. It's still possible.
right. It's still possible. It's just we got to see if this culture of sacrifice that Brenton has set up, it continues to trickle down and inspire others to do the same thing to keep this run going.
Right. So
So yeah,
so as we get ready to wrap up, one thing I just want to share that so those who don't know, the parade is scheduled for this Thursday, in New York and Manhattan. Um, Also, too, on top of that, it's gonna be a lot going on. It's gonna be Juneteenth celebration the day after on June 19th on that Friday. Yeah, so for one, I will be there. We'll need to, as far as members of the
yes sir.
Knickline, we're gonna set up a location for us to meet. I'm gonna, be taking roll call. I'm gonna take attendance, make sure everyone's present and accounted for, and then we'll enjoy the parade together as a group. So we share more information on that within the Knickline threads and also within the Discord. Uh, what else? And I think that's pretty much it, man. No more games. There's no more games until
No more games.
I guess
Summer League.
I was gonna say, yeah, summer league. So so, but it feels good to end basketball on a high note with the Knicks winning the championship, and also too, I'll say one thing, especially when we look forward to 2026, 2027 season. I want the Knicks to hang all the banners up.
All of them. Yep.
I want the cup. I want the
Cup
Eastern
East.
Conference. I want the NBA Finals. I want
All
them
three
all
of
up
them.
there. Yeah, put them all up there. Because really, I mean, Knicks are double
You really ran
champions,
the
man.
gauntlet. I'm just
Knicks are
thinking about like you really like were the best team throughout the season.
yeah,
Like that's so insane.
and to beat the same team in the cup and for the chip in the same year. That says something, man. Like, look, this wasn't no fluke. Like, you didn't believe it's in the cup. Okay, we'll do it again in the finals. What what you want to say? We beat them in the finals.
Right.
We beat the Spurs in the finals. We beat them in the cup. We swept through pretty much the Eastern Conference. The only team that gave us a problem was Atlanta.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah,
Like you that's so crazy. And Dylan and they was talking like when they was on stage, like, oh, we gotta get our get back. I mean, Dylan was the only one that showed up for the get back, but
you're right.
there's that.
Yeah, so I mean, nah, man, the Knicks were dominant. They were the dominant team of the NBA. There's no way around it. I mean, when you perform like that, and the way that they destroy teams throughout these playoffs, the Knicks were a powerhouse. They were a dominant team, and they showed it, and that's why they walk around today as NBA champions.
Right. Yeah. Powerhouse, like that differentiation in terms of win margin, can't make it
Hmm.
up
No, you can't dispute that. All
at
right,
all.
well, that's it for us. We're signing off. Again, Knicks fans, your New York Knicks are NBA champions uh, of the NBA. So look, just enjoy it, have fun. Call your friends, call family, whatever. If they don't know by now, something's wrong with them. So, but especially if you look at some of the videos that take place in New York, like some of the
Oh
live
my gosh.
videos,
It absolutely insane.
yeah, insane. I mean, you
Insanity.
you you got you got the whole block, everyone singing Empire State of Mind together and stuff like that. I mean, it's just really nice to see that togetherness and everyone just so happy. I mean, they was showing folks getting on the train, folks on the train celebrating. I was like, yo, this is insane,
Right.
man. I love it, and I just look forward to sharing uh, that energy, that exuberance with you all during the parade. So again, the parade is going to be happening this Thursday for to celebrate the New York Knicks and their championship. I think once we get some more information as far as like exact location, we want to share that out. We'll put that out into the Discord and also to into the Nickline threads. All right, well that's it for us. We're signing out. Have a great day, everyone. And again, your New York Knicks are NBA champs. Later.
Sir. Peace.